Little
Jeez.
tough love. We are so excited to be joining with these two today because not only are they just incredible actors and wonderful human beings, they're going to be playing parts in the series that work very closely together. So you're going to see a lot of these two probably getting into trouble. Just to give you a little bit about the project Manhattan Transfer, it is an exciting new streaming series based on the award-winning novel of the same name by John E. Stith. Manhattan Transfer will tell the tale of a massive alien ship that abducts the entire city of Manhattan, literally rips it out of the ground, brings it on board along with its nearly 2 million inhabitants, and it will not only chronicle the human attempts to communicate with the aliens and escape the prison, but will also tell multiple stories of what happens to extraordinary and everyday people when their society breaks down.
How many inhabitants?
2 million.
I think you're short cheating New York a few inhabitants.
Well, it's Manhattan, just the Manhattan
Just
area.
Manhattan Island.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
yeah, we're
so
not, yeah.
Queens is left. Queens,
And it was probably a busy day, they're all taking trains to Jersey,
Brooklyn,
it's
people in the
yeah.
Holland Tunnel. I can't remember. Are people in the
Right.
Holland Tunnel coming? Or
The
they?
aliens don't want Astoria, I guess.
I guess
Yeah, I
not.
guess
Wow,
not. Yeah.
Okay.
wow,
Okay. Yeah.
man,
Like
it's going to cost a lot more to live in Flushing, though. That's for sure. Damn.
but I would love to let the audience and the viewers knowing what characters you two are playing. Doug, you're going to be playing Dr. Zed Wellington, and John, you'll be playing Michael Engelbrecht. Can you guys give us a little bit
I believe I'm
information?
playing Malcolm Engelbrecht, actually.
Malcolm, did I not say Malcolm?
I think you said Michael, but that's all right.
Malcolm. I think I
That's all
said
right.
Malcolm, but
Uh-huh.
I'm
That's
a little
right. That's right. It's
Malcolm.
not like you've ever hosted one of these before, Bonnie. I don't expect perfection from you.
Not with Malcolm, not with the infamous Malcolm Engelbrecht on here.
Yes.
But no, I'm very excited to hear more about your characters. If you guys want to give us a little sneak peek, not too much. We don't want to give too much away. But
Hmm.
John, tell us a little bit about Malcolm.
Well, I believe I am a an Ethan Musk type fellow. I hope I have a slightly less tarnished character than him. And I work closely with my brainiac right hand man, Zed, who I imagine comes up with all the real smart inventions that I then find a way to make a buck from. So I'm probably the administrative genius, and Zed is the actual genius.
You're probably the financial
Yeah,
connoisseur. And Doug, you'll be playing Dr. Zed Wellington,
Right.
uh, the
And that would be,
brainiac.
yes, scientist PhD, not medical doctor. And so the one who can, because we have a lot to figure out in this because aliens have really basically abducted Manhattan, right? So and taken us elsewhere, carved us out of the earth and lifted us up into the sky. We have to figure out what's going wrong, how to fix it, how to can we escape? Can we make contact with others who this has happened to on other planets? Maybe we don't know. So there's a lot of sciencing to do, and I'm in that phase of my
Science.
career where yeah, yeah, where science are us.
Excellent. And well, I'll be playing the role of Joy, the radio shock jock. So I'm sure our characters will interact in some way or manner. If not, I did already warn the director, John, that if you and I had any scenes together, it might cause havoc on set. So
well,
I think they're rewriting the
I'm as
script right
well
now to
behaved
include
as
as
any
many as
actor
possible.
you will ever meet on set. I'm too old to get up to any trouble for one thing.
Well, and
You just
Bonnie, if you're the radio shock jock, I'm going to assume that throughout the series you might be the one who basically narrates for the audience because you'll be speaking, broadcasting what's happening and what's not happening and what needs to happen. I'm assuming. Would that be sound right?
Well, what's happening, Joy apparently has a lot of conspiracy theories running through her head.
I was
So
going
I'm
to say, I
sure,
bet you're the inciter. I bet you're
I'm
the
pretty sure I'll
person
be the one causing a little bit of the
who causes
chaos.
Okay, yeah,
rifts and tensions.
Like,
Yeah,
right.
do I trust the people in
this is
charge
all a
taking.
democratic socialist plot. New York hasn't really been abducted at all. We've only been taken to the bottom of a pizzeria in Washington, D.C.
Oh my goodness. I'll be like shooting rocks at the wall, making sure there's no LED screens. of,
Right.
they're like, we're in a dome. Yeah, it's the government. I don't know. I actually don't know if Joy goes that route. Um,
Well, unfortunately,
considering
I'm so glad you're abducted. That's thank God you weren't one of the outer
You're
boroughs.
coming with us. I'm
I'm
glad.
coming with you. You're stuck with
Yeah.
me in a dome no matter what.
All right, fabulous.
Yeah.
Um, I love that this, and I don't know if you're both aware, but this show in particular has the creme de la creme of sci-fi and Star Trek actors joining
Mm.
us. Everyone from Walter from the original series. When you look at Star Trek, we have, Tim Russ, we have Dominic, we have you, Doug, we have John Billingsley, we have me, we have like the Star Trek, we have almost every show represented in this
We're the creme de
series.
la creme. The five of us represent the creme de la creme.
Well, the
Oh,
the bottom of the creme.
Who are everybody else is lesser creme, and we're
yeah,
No,
yeah. This creme did not rise to the top.
wow. I was going to say,
we're the souffle that's
yeah.
slowly like
All right.
like
I
deflating.
think Doug may be the creme de la creme.
Doug
We've got
is the creme de la creme.
Slightly overcooked.
yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is it stars a lot of fan favorite Star Trek
Yes,
folk and Casper Van Dien from Starship
love
Troopers.
him.
Yeah, so it's a sci-fi mecca of
Yeah.
actors. I know I'm excited to be working with everyone. What are you most looking forward to with shooting this series with Manhattan Transfer? With working with some of your both old colleagues and new and people in the sci-fi verse that we've not yet quite worked with. I don't know,
Yeah.
Doug, you've worked with
Well,
everyone.
you go first. You're cremier than I am. I think you should start.
Oh, go me? Okay, well, I'm excited to work with all my friends. I just
Just like
actually,
rehearsal. Good
I
job,
know.
Doug. Yeah.
I was going to
I
say,
just
all
did
right.
I just did a convention in Germany last weekend with Walter Koenig, and we were talking about Manhattan Transfer, and I think he's playing a college professor in this. Is that right? I think that sounds
I
right.
believe so. Yes.
And
I
he's
thought he was the leader of a boy band. Are we sure? Are
or the
we on
boy
the
band
same
leader,
page?
exactly.
Well, that's his hobby.
Yeah,
He's a professor by day, boy
All
band
right.
by night.
right.
It's a lot of subtext in his
I
character.
would love to see an 87-year-old boy band, by the way.
I
Just
would do.
I'm gonna put
They
that out
already
there.
exist. They're called the Beach Boys.
Oh, there you
Very
go.
good.
There you
Very
go.
good.
Okay. So anhinny, working with Walter would be, and I love Casper. Never been on film with him before either. We've known each other socially before this, but so I'm looking forward to all of that. I'm also kind of looking forward to um, doing this without rubber makeup on my face. I uh,
Yes.
I love. I've been
Yes.
playing more humans of late and enjoying that new chapter, focusing on humans. So he's a sciencey human, so he's still going to have his quirks, I'm sure. Because this face, I knew Bonnie when I started acting that I looked in a mirror and I said, "You either have to be funny or scary. You're never going to be a leading man child." So this might be in but that wheelhouse of funny, scary, quirky.
Oh, I love it. I can't
Looking forward
wait.
to that.
John, you've had your fair share of prosthetics too,
Yes.
as
Really,
Dr. Phlox.
only that
No,
one show, actually. I mean, I've not had as illustrious a career as Mr. Jones, and I haven't had
Hmm.
that many occasions to wear prosthetics. But yes, I had 4 years of a rubber head, and
yeah.
it is an interesting and challenging experience.
I can't even imagine
Yes, but
the
I was not
torture
I was
Doug
not as
Jones goes through.
encased as Mr. Jones was. I'm looking forward to having Doug Jones as my acting partner. That's something I'm very excited about. And I'm also excited that I don't have to be in any of the elaborate stunts, which, having read the script, it's quite remarkable, some of the action sequences. I mean, really, it's going to be
Mhm.
thrilling to see what they end up
Yeah.
looking like. And I look forward to coming to the set to watching the other actors having to go through some of what I expect will be grueling and painful.
I mentioned that I do my own stunts. I
Oh, well,
don't actually do
that
that,
was
but we'll see what happens.
foolish of
Just kidding.
you.
No.
Good heavens. Well, you can do, if I have any stunts, you can do mine too,
Oh,
honey.
good. I've been told I look like you, so
Uh-huh.
from a long distance.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of stunt doubles, when you're tall and skinny like me,
mhm.
finding a double for that who can take
Oh,
a hit and not break, when you find that guy, you keep him. So
forever.
I found my Boston Camilleri is his name. He lives between Toronto and Florida. He's got dual citizenship, so he can work anywhere. And
Oh, beautiful.
I'm now taking him with me everywhere I go because the boy saved my life several times. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Wow.
Wonderful. So if Dr. Zed Wellington has any stunt maneuvers, we're going to get to meet your
Yes,
amazing stunt double. Great.
Dr. Zed would rather not break a hip. Right?
I would not want.
Mine is the opposite problem. You have to find some sort of slow, tubby fellow who's still doing stunts, which is like, those usually aren't the guys who are necessarily making a bundle in the stunt business. So,
It's just like some guy you pick up off the street.
yeah,
Hey, you want a SAG voucher?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Um, so again, going back to Manhattan Transfer, it takes place in New York City, in Manhattan. I'm sure you two have shot many things all over, or I don't know if you've ever lived
I
in
have
New
not.
York, or if you're
I've
familiar.
only shot a little bit in Manhattan, but I've lived in
Mm.
Manhattan. I love Manhattan. I
What are
mean,
some of your favorite things about the city?
oh, the bookstores, of course. I love the High Line now, which I think is a wonderful addition. I'm old enough to have been in New York back when it was less salubrious, back when Times Square was actually a legitimate cesspool instead of an odd Disney cesspool. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and there are aspects of that city I miss. It's certainly become infinitely more sanitized and infinitely richer. It has lost some of its bizarre, squalid flavor. But I still love those pockets of New York where you kind of feel like you're in touch with the past. New York
Mm,
is such a wonderful city, rich in history. It's as close as we get in America to the European experience in a city, particularly in certain neighborhoods.
absolutely. What about you, Doug?
Well, I have never lived there, but I've shot I shot a little independent film in New York once and loved it. I learned how to use the subway all by myself. I was very proud of myself.
Isn't that such a liberating feeling?
No, it
Every
kind of
time I go
is.
to New York, I have terrible direction sense, so
Yeah.
I end up like in a different state half the
I
time.
was
I'm
sure
like,
I would
oh
end up in
no.
Pennsylvania. Exactly. I
Yep,
know.
yep.
I know. But
That's because there's a
but
Pennsylvania station, and that is confusing.
that was it. I knew there was a
Yeah.
but I've been there. I've been there for in the city for conventions, for fan conventions. I've been there for a lot of promo trips, you
Mhm.
press junkets and things. For last time I was there for was for the Hocus Pocus 2 premiere and press junket. And so when you see that side of New York, where you're getting limousined around and staying in the penthouse hotel suites, and it, it's real. I overlooked Central Park for crying out loud on the top floor. So that's
Wow.
not a bad New York to see. You know what I'm saying?
No, no.
Yeah. But
Gee,
then, but then,
My New York memories of trying to score some weed and behind a urinal on 59th and
see,
okay,
that's a
well,
different New York.
there,
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Patty and
between
Joel.
John and Doug, we
Yeah,
have New
we
York kind of
have
bookended here.
all
Yeah.
sizes of New York
You get the
showing.
full spectrum between the
Yeah,
two of you.
yeah.
But true, you do get a sense of walkable community there for sure. I mean, there's an Italian joint right downstairs if you want it. There's like you said,
Oh.
good bookstore, great coffee shops within steps away, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like an energy about the city
Yes, totally. Yeah,
that's
buzz.
kind of
Yeah,
invigorating.
right.
Every time I go there, I'm coming from a theater background, the theater
When
scene in New
we're
York.
abducted and taken to this other planet, will there
Yes.
still be pizza? I mean, will the businesses continue to operate? Is the ecosystem still going to allow for like Irish coffees and
Well, that
bookstores?
segues into my next question perfectly. What do you
Oh,
think is going to be some of the biggest problems Manhattan's going to face
Uh,
when you
no
know,
pepperoni. There, all the pepperoni that gets bussed in
Mamma Mia!
out of the city. It's yeah. What are we gonna do?
well, I think all the Broadway actors are going to have that the show must go on mentality, and so I think they're still going to be performing. They're not going to go dark.
Like
Let's
in
go
the
out.
streets. It's like all of a sudden it turns into its own West Side
What's that
Story.
story?
Yeah,
Exactly.
like, everyone's doing crime. Dun, dun.
Boy, boy.
5, 6, 7, 8. Dun, 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 dun.
Well,
Yes.
that is an interesting question. Not having, and I think it's a fascinating premise. Is these ecosystems have been taken to another planet, and presumably our overlords want to see these ecosystems function as they would back on their home planet. So,
Mhm.
are they going to be, casting these shows and providing the pepperoni? Are they going to be wanting to maintain the cities they've abducted in their
Mhm.
pristine version? And are we going to
Mhm.
are they there to watch us decay? Are they there to watch us collapse? The show leaves you really hanging in terms of, oh, what is this experience going to be like for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. The
Where
pilot
they
script ended that way. Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with like what ifs of like where do we go from
Yeah,
here?
great
Yeah,
cliffhanger. It's a great
yeah,
cliff. We've
totally.
now spoiled it completely
I
for
know we
the
totally spoiled
audience.
Well,
But
it's based off a book, so if everyone can go
Yeah,
read
there
the
you go.
book.
yeah,
There you go.
presumably the
And
people who are watching this have a deep interest in this project, and we're not providing spoiler alerts.
either that or they think we're again the new Manhattan Transfer tribute album band.
I went to a Manhattan Transfer concert in the early 80s and love them. Yes.
Yeah. Every time I post about Manhattan Transfer, it's like, I love their music. I can't wait for you to work with them. I'm like, maybe read the blib.
Are
Yeah,
they still
yeah,
around?
yeah.
Manhattan Transfer is still a functioning.
I
I
think
don't
they're
know.
still together. I think
Wow.
they still
Okay.
I mean, the
tour.
Village people are still going. My friend's the
Come on.
cowboy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're still YMCAing all over.
Okay.
I
Right?
mean, the ones that are still here. Sorry. Wow. Look at all of our ADD going everywhere.
I know, right?
But no, with New York, okay, today in real life, if New York was abducted by aliens, what would you think the biggest, challenge New Yorkers would face? Uh, Not in the book or the series we're doing, but like if this actually happened,
Well, they
if
wouldn't
this
have
was,
LA to piss on anymore, so there's that. There's like, they're going to have to find a whole new raft of things to bitch about, for one thing. Um,
you're not
Yeah. Oh,
wrong.
you mean even the people have if New York actually was lifted up, what would happen within that bubble in if or what would happen to this who's remaining around on Earth?
Both. Let's go.
Both.
Yeah, let's
Well,
hear
I
both.
think right. I think that because there's I guess what I did notice when I was in New York is that there's a certain like, oh, I live in Manhattan, as opposed to, oh, I'm on Long Island, right? So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think Long Island would become the new like, oh,
It's
we're
like, oh, well,
the new
I
take
think
elite.
that,
the
Manhattan.
people in Brooklyn are already kind of feeling like they're
They're
better
already
than
there.
people in
Yeah,
Manhattan, so they're the new overlords. But
that's
I
right.
think you're right. It's like the fight for dominance amongst the surviving boroughs and New Jersey would be interesting. And of course,
Jersey might take a
presumably,
step up. Yes.
yeah. Does the
Think,
ocean kind of like just kind of cover? I mean, we suck Manhattan up, so I'm assuming that the
Whoosh, you would think so. Yeah.
yes, yes. So there's gonna be a lot of waterfront property to develop.
Right.
Uh,
yeah, oh gosh,
I,
could you
I,
imagine?
yeah, I think you'd probably see a lot of money would be flooding in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man. Don't question the 2 million people that just up and disappeared. We gotta work on getting
I'm
this
still
property
surprised
up.
it's only 2 million in Manhattan. I would have thought there'd be more than that. I know.
Look, it could be more. I'm just reading the numbers I'm given.
All right.
Yeah.
You haven't done a deep amount of research. You don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, I am a radio shock jock. How much research can I actually do? I'll
Isn't
just say
that
my
the
truth. I'm just
isn't that
saying
the
my truth
isn't
as I
that the
know
shtick?
it.
Look, I've done my own research. Isn't that the mantra these days?
Yeah, it
Oh
is.
yes.
Oh,
I
gosh,
wonder if
yes.
she's gonna be one of those people with like the board behind her with the string attaching, to the FBI, to the CEA, to
Oh,
the
yeah, a
The
flow
murder
to
board.
chart of
the
like,
The murder board.
Illuminati. Yeah.
Yeah, the Illuminati. The Illuminati. Yeah.
Illuminati is behind this. I can tell. I can feel it.
Yeah.
What I love, I think, about Joy is that in the beginning, I think in the beginning of everything, she's the one that's poo-pooing on the idea that aliens are real. And then this happens. So it's like she's I think deep down in her mind, she's going, is this my fault? Did I scorn the wrong person in the universe? But
Uh,
yeah, with New York, with Manhattan, uh, what I love most about this story too is that yes, you are, Doug, you're playing this genius inventor scientist. John, you're playing this, person who obviously has a lot of power in the city as well. But what I love most about the story is that it's focusing a lot on the stories of the everyday people, the people that we just kind of pass
well, let's
by
not talk
over.
about them. I mean, uh, hello.
All right, why are we talking about them when Malcolm's here? But I'm just pointing out that I do love that it focuses so much on the everyday people because I feel like if this did ever happen in real life anywhere, or if I'm not talking about an alien abduction, I'm talking about look at what happens when catastrophic things, having been someone who witnessed Hurricane Katrina in Louisiana, you know, the real heroes step up, the everyday people, the ones, you know,
Mhm.
that are the ones that tend to step up and become the ones that make a difference. So I
It does feel like the everyday person, what in catastrophe, what power are we powerless? We feel it as
mhm,
catastrophes begin. It's like, what do we do? What do we do? Who's in charge? Ah, and then yes, you're right. Heroism can rise up out of it. I love stories where an underdog comes out as a leader. And
mhm.
I think we might be in store for some of that on
I am
this.
definitely
Sounds like.
waiting to be rescued. Can I just say right off the bat, as a person, as an individual, should the catastrophe occur, would you please just mark my address, come and get me, bring a boat or a helicopter? I'm not going to be of any assistance whatsoever.
That
Right.
is easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if the apocalypse occurs, I just am gonna turn my tummy up like a dog. It's like, come
Oh
fed
my
me, drink my
gosh.
liquor. I'm not gonna fend you off.
Eh,
Oh
Yeah.
my, you'll just be in your little your little hole with your books and
yeah.
you'll be content waiting for
Bonnie,
rescue.
maybe she might do some fending. I don't know. Bonnie, do you want to go
Mm.
fend for me? I'm not up to it. Not you, Bonnie. My wife. My
Yeah, I
wife.
know. I assumed you were talking about your wife, Bonnie.
I
That's
realize that
okay.
might be confusing to the general public, though.
Hmm.
Uh, it's true. I don't know. Bonnie's pretty badass. I think she would save you.
She would be much more likely to do fending than I would, although she'd be more inclined to try and reason with the people, and that I don't think that's going to go well. Savages.
You both have worked in sci-fi. In obviously you have, but in many different types of sci-fi and fantasy type things.
In good
Um,
sci-fi and sucky sci-fi, is it
no, I'm just saying
nice and
sci-fi of
dry?
all types,
All
everything from
types.
All types.
it's true. Like there's a spectrum of science fiction, you know,
Hmm.
the stuff that could be possible, and then stuff that's so is insanely far-fetched that you're just like, this
Where
is
does aliens abducting
becomes
the
a
human being
fantasy.
fall on that spectrum? I'm curious in your worldview. Do you think that falls on the sure, I can see that happening, or does it fall more on the probably not going to happen spectrum?
Well, I'm hoping Manhattan doesn't get abducted by aliens, John. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to where you kind of the
Where I
far-fetchedness of your
fall?
point of view falls. Yes, yes.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
I go ahead, Doug.
I was going to say I was in a series called Falling Skies, where
Yes, I remember that one.
led by Noah Wiley, and that was all about. It was kind of The Walking Dead with aliens. So it was a post-apocalyptic story where aliens abduct Earth and take over, and then humans are either disposed of or encamped, and that also had a helplessness sort of feeling to it. But then there was a resistance that rose up, and
Were
yes,
you an alien? Were you an alien, or were you one of the
I was a good alien. I came at the
Oh,
end of season two.
thank you.
Uh, I was with them seasons three, four, five to help I was helping the humans fight off the bad aliens because I had history with them with my people in the
Oh,
past. I knew their tricks.
oh. Well,
Mm.
speaking for humans, can I say we thank you? Thank you for
Of
Yeah.
that.
course, it's my pleasure.
Thank you for your assistance.
Of course, of
Thank you.
course.
But what I want to know is your personal opinions of what makes good sci-fi
Hmm.
when it comes to the
I,
storytelling.
personally, I think plausibility, if it's too preposterous, people might slough it off. But plausibility, and also, I think heroism honestly makes good sci-fi for me. Uh, Seeing like watching people work through a process to win over the threat that they're facing, whatever that is.
Mhm.
Because I think we walk out of the movie theater or we turn our TV off feeling a little bit empowered, like now I can face the demons and the aliens in my real life here,
Yeah,
once I've watched it happen fictionally and people come out on top, it's like, oh, good. So maybe I can win the day.
I love that. I love that. What about you, John? What do you think
Oh,
makes
I don't
good
know.
sci-fi?
I think, sometimes we make too much of a distinction between genres. It's always the depth of characterization, whether the writing allows for characters to feel
Yeah.
multidimensional. If it's a multi, if you have a sense of the dimensionality of the people, you're prepared to accept a lot. And I, think that's in to a certain extent no different in any genre.
Good answer. Wow.
Bugs was a
I
good
was
answer too.
Oh, well, both of you.
I
I'm just
like John's too. No, yeah, good story's a good story no matter what genre. True,
Yeah.
true.
That's very true. I feel like with science fiction, there's always that possibility of, what if and the unknown, but it's
I
always
mean,
about the
it
storytelling. It's always
certainly
about the
certainly
characters. How can we relate?
as Star Trek veterans, I'm sure that what's made Roddenberry's vision so successful down the years is that his vision of hopefulness. And it seems to
Yeah.
me if there are two real strains of sci-fi, it's the apocalyptic vision and the yes we can vision. And I think both have their merits. And it's a
Hmm.
testament, I think, though, to what has made Star Trek as long lived as it is, that people are looking for positive messages and the possibility that we can survive what might seem to be bleak times. Um, Probably sci-fi at its best does give you some sense of hope.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I feel like this show will definitely be a nice mix of both the post-apocalyptic feel and the yes we can feel of Manhattan becoming completely isolated and
Well,
people within it trying to
and that's
have
kind of
some kind of
that's kind of the shtick of Manhattan, at least I think if you ask a New Yorker. I mean, the whole thing that any New
that's
Yorker would say is like, "Yeah, I'll know it. I got it."
it's every man for himself in
Like they're
No, I
already
Manhattan.
don't think that.
isolated.
I think that's what Manhattanites would feel most. They're most likely to object to. I think Manhattanites feel like, in a pinch, they're the guys you're going to say, come on, the old war movies. It's always a guy from Brooklyn who says, come here, Joe. We're going to do this. We're going to wipe out that enemy platoon.
Oh my
Um,
God.
what makes New Yorkers
Hmm.
so wonderfully full of themselves, he says
I
with
love
I
it.
love it.
I love it.
Well, and,
Um,
but also, in this, we are our little bit humongous pod that is lifted off of Earth. We are joining other cultures at some point, I think, that have also been abducted. There's a lot of integration and
mm,
education to learn from each other, and the relationship possibilities are endless with that. I think that's kind of exciting.
I could totally see Doug playing actually like multiple parts where he's like, actually from every culture, every planet, there's a version of
Of
Doug.
me.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like from Dark
Ooh.
Skies, that guy's been abducted too, and he's in a neighbor.
ooh, like a mirror universe kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the guy from Discovery, he's in a neighboring. It's like all
We
the
get
iterations of
everybody.
Doug. There's one in every world.
That's not a
The
horrible idea. I would like to see all those Dougs. Thank
Yeah,
you.
the
yeah, yeah.
McDonald's moon.
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah,
why don't we just
yes.
call it all those Dougs? Is it too late to change the name of
Yeah.
the project? I think
Too
so.
If,
many Dougs. Yeah.
oh,
No, not
if,
too many Dougs,
yeah,
just
every
enough.
non-human character I've ever played shows up in someone's pod from
Yeah,
another planet somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A, I'm trying to think of a good alliteration, like the handful of datas or like the a
Yeah.
dinghy of Dougs. Anyway, uh, I love that. Well, what's so cool is that, and spoilers, not really, if you've read the book, Manhattan is just one city in this alien collection of cities. So I feel like a lot of the series will focus on the humans, us, trying to communicate with some of these other alien life forms, not only our captors, but you know,
Mhm.
what are these other
We also don't know if there are
cities?
other U.S. cities. I mean, maybe Cleveland is like, in here too. I don't know.
We don't need to talk to Cleveland. It's fine. We'll keep our focus on
I like Cleveland.
talking to the aliens. I'm just kidding. Cleveland's beautiful. I love Cleveland. I've never been, but I'm sure it's
I
great.
shot a movie in Cleveland. I love Cleveland. I think Cleveland is a vastly underrated and underappreciated American city.
Now, a city they should have stolen was New Orleans. Now that's a city that could have
Uh,
that's a city that'll just turn anything into
New
a
Orleans, I
party.
don't think would miss a beat. I think they would
I don't think they
probably
would notice.
they would
They'd be
just go
like,
on. I
"Oh,
know. Like,
okay.
yeah, all right,
Toss some beads. Let's go."
that's
Yeah,
right.
they'd still have their jazz festival no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. They're
Yeah.
just like, it would be a dome of music for sure.
Yeah.
Because Louisiana, when something goes wrong, we celebrate it, and we music is what gets us through. Music and food.
Music
So
and Cajun food, sure.
The Italy of America. That's right.
Yes.
yeah, yes.
That's true.
Oh my goodness. Well, we do have a few more minutes left in in this event. So I want to just open it up to you guys, and we have about 15 minutes left, but I want to, talk to you about just anything within your careers, up to leading up to this point. You both have gotten to work with some incredible actors. Like, are there any people that stand out that you have really enjoyed working with, that,
I didn't
a
like
favorite person?
I was pretty much didn't really I haven't gotten to anybody I worked with yet. I'm hoping Doug is going to break the cherry. I was like,
I'm going to come through for you, John.
one day I'm going to find somebody that I can tolerate. I don't know,
Oh my goodness.
but I bet Doug's
uh,
everybody. Doug is one of the most loving and gracious people in our business, as you know.
you.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
I've
And the
been
biggest hugger, can I say, possibly in the world.
If you
Look
come
out, Doug.
within arm's reach, I'm going to hug you.
And
That's
he's
true.
got extremely long arms. So I think probably Doug has hugged more people. If there's a Guinness Book of World Records for hugging, I think Doug probably has more
We
hugs than
should look into that.
Yeah, there's no way to track those. And by now, I have no idea. How do you go back
Well,
and count?
it would be a
yeah.
research project, I grant you, but
It
wouldn't it
would
be
be.
great to just for posterity's sake have it on record that Doug Jones was the biggest hugger in the history of the world?
Huh. I wonder
I,
if you could, I wonder if you could put a call out there to the general public. If you have been hugged by me, here's an
yeah,
email address, and we could pile them up and see how
Oh
many.
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Dr.
That would be a
Zed
fun Guinness.
Wellington could have figured this
Yeah,
out
yeah,
using
That's right.
science.
yeah.
Zed Wellington could figure this out. Um, wow, that's a good idea. Guinness Book might enjoy that. Anyway. But talking about people I've worked with in the past, I think my Hellboy team with Ron Perlman and Selma Blair and Jeffrey Tambor, that's a unit that became a little family. Loved
Mhm.
them. And Ronnie Perlman he often does the convention circuit as well. So yeah,
Yeah, he
we run
does.
into each other constantly, and he's the sweetest grump I've ever known. Um, yeah, and Selma Blair has, been dealing with the MS very publicly,
Yeah.
and has been quite a champion for disabilities and for rising above, and
Mhm.
she's a powerhouse. I just really and has stayed humble and sweet through all of it. Um, I have adored, and if we go, then let's jump to The Shape of Water. I have to talk about Sally Hawkins. Oh
I
my gosh.
loved you in that, by the way.
Well, thank you, thank you. But
Yes.
working opposite Sally Hawkins as our lead actor, she played Eliza in the movie.
Hmm.
There's something so incredibly magical about her that when action is called, everything goes away, and you are really living and breathing that moment with her. She's so incredibly genuine. And
Wow.
another actress who does that with me is Tara Rosling, who plays Tarina on Star Trek Discovery, my Vulcan love interest.
Yes, y'all are adorable.
I love that relationship and how it's blossomed and how the writers took us there. After she was introduced, that was not the original plan, but Tara and I both were like, this feels like they're headed toward romance. So we kind of talked to the writers about it, and that's exactly where they took it. So now we're engaged
I
on
know.
season 5.
Congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow.
No, that's great. I love, when you work on projects like this, you do become, part of a family. And I'm really hoping with this show that we get, you know, no matter where it goes,
Yeah.
that we all get to work closely together and
Well, and
really enjoy it.
And it feels very ensemble like this
Hmm.
Manhattan transfer. It feels like there's not like one lead and then all the rest of us are supporting players. It's very ensemble-ish. You're following many stories at once, everything from the elite to the common folk. Yes,
Right. And it feels like we're all kind of tapestried together, like we're each a thread in a bigger picture.
right.
And as we follow the stories, I feel like all the story threads are going to start combining. And like, Dr.
So
Zed
and we will
and
be
Malcolm.
interacting with the common folk, is what you're suggesting, that
Yeah.
eventually we're going
Yeah,
to
I'm
interact?
sorry, John. You have to talk to the peasants. I'm so
You're
sorry.
you're gonna have to mingle.
You're
You're
gonna
gonna
have to mingle.
Please. All right.
You're gonna have to see the light of day and or
right.
whatever light they give us, and
Yeah, right.
and venture forth into the unknown
Hmm.
talk to the common man.
Hmm.
Just hope the dry cleaners are still functioning so I can get my suits pressed on a regular basis.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Why exist without a dry cleaner?
No, no.
It's like, oh no.
Wait, come back! You've left my cravat behind.
Well, knowing your luck, John, it's gonna Manhattan's gonna get lasers out like right in between, right where the dry cleaner starts and the
Hmm.
dome begins, and you'll
My
just be
luck.
on the other side.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah, you're gonna have to do your own ironing. I know it's
Yeah.
hard. Um, we're digressing all over the place. It is this series is based off of a sci-fi novel. And John, I know you're an avid reader, unless all those books are just for show behind
No, no,
you.
no. I just finished the most wonderful novel, Affinity, by Sarah Waters. I don't know if you're familiar with her work.
No,
Oh, she's such a marvelous novelist.
I'm gonna put that on my list. Doug, are you a big reader as well? And also,
No,
no, you're not a big reader at
not a
all.
big reader.
We're
No,
just gonna
I.
stop you right there. Okay,
Right.
nope, shut me down.
Ah,
Because I was gonna say, I love it. I love that so many different types of, series and movies are being adapted from novels because
mhm,
I feel with reading, it's our first way of escape when we're learning.
mhm.
And reading, I read this book and seeing it, picturing it in my head, and then now getting to read the pilot. It's a very surreal feeling of seeing what
Was
they've
it?
done
Did you feel
differently.
it's faithful by and large to the
I
book?
think it's very faithful to the book. I mean, again, we've just received the pilot, nothing more. So I'm
Are the
excited to
books
see where they go.
it,
The
is the
pilot
book a
gets to.
standalone, or is the book? I'm going to start interviewing you, Bonnie. Is the
Oh
book
yeah,
standalone, or is
I
it a
believe it's a
series?
standalone. You'd have to ask the author. I'm pretty sure it's a standalone. But what I
And
love
you
about
said it's
it,
an award-winning book. What award did it win?
that's a great question.
Was it one of those awards that you can kind of create for yourself?
Yeah.
Bob Picardo sent me a link once. He said, "Hey John, just wanted to let you know that I was voted the most popular Doctor in Star Trek history, and you were voted the least popular Doctor in Star Trek history. Your friend Bob."
Oh,
Turned out
Bobby
that was just
Picardo.
a push poll that he'd conducted within his own family. So you
Oh,
really have to take these things.
okay. Well, I'm pretty sure he
Award
won a
winning.
real award, not something given to him by his nephew or.
All right, I don't want to,
You are
Uh,
the best, Uncle
yeah,
John. Yeah.
it's documented.
It
Okay.
is. It is. It's framed. But no, I love it does stay very true to the novel, but what I love about the, reading the pilot, it takes its time, where I feel like they're able to really focus on different types of characters. With the book, you jump in and you focus on just, a few people. Um, the show I think is going to be able to expand upon that, and you're going to get so many different stories, and they're really trying to make it focus on different types, everyone from the people at the top to the people at the bottom. So I'm really excited to see how much they expand upon it because now when you write like a series, it opens it up so much more because now you get to create this whole world around the book that they're going to be able to focus on more stories besides just the few that are focused in on the novel because you'll be able to and be able to visually show it as well. So I'm just really excited. I'm excited to work with both of you, um,
Hmm.
and
Do
just
we have
everyone in
do
the
we have
cast.
scenes with you?
Not in the pilot, I don't think.
But we
I feel
certainly
like the
could in the
pilot.
future.
I feel like in the pilot, everyone's in their own little world, and
Do you want to
me
show
being
up
a.
on the day they're doing? Are you in the stunts? Do you fall into the great big chasm? Are you
I
do you
don't
have to
want to give anything
uh,
away,
oh, we've
John.
given the whole thing away. Come on, we might as well. Why stop now, for God's sake?
Well, I mean, I'm doing my job, I'm in the middle of a broadcast when it happens.
Yeah, what
So,
happens? Yeah.
I
and
had
I'm
originally when I
assuming Dr. Zed Wellington and Malcolm Inglebright are not in my radio station when it happens.
Well, I
So,
confess that when I was initially offered this, they had offered a different part to me, and it was somebody who was involved in the stunt, and I was being hoisted and lifted and generally kind of lugged around like a sack of potatoes. I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to find that goddamn tubby guy who's my stunt double and see if he's still in
The
business.
puffy guy.
Puffy guy, oh, he's more than puffy. I once upon a time I was puffy. Now I'm actually, I think, stout.
Oh my gosh.
I've gone through all the euphemisms for fat that you can use over the course of a career, and I think
Just
I'm
like
just
you're like Hobbit level, you're just,
no,
you
no, no,
enjoy the
no, no.
second
Like no,
breakfast
the
and you
Hobbit mayor, maybe, like the fattest of the hobbits. Yeah, the Fobbit.
Well, being a skinny guy has its shortcomings too. I get told to eat a sandwich more times in a month than most people do.
isn't
People
that
slap it out of
terrible?
my hands, Doug. We should do like a Freaky Friday sometime. I'd like to experience that.
Oh, now I want a sandwich. And I'm just the
I
one.
know.
While everyone's complaining about hitting it out of your hand, giving it to you, I'm just gonna be on the side actually eating mine, going, this is great. Yeah.
Okay.
I do not do my own stunts either, so good luck on
Mhm.
finding a
But you do
curvy
do a
redhead.
but you have a magic act, or you're at least part of a magic act.
I can be put into a box with a bunch of
Yeah,
swords, so if
yeah.
that
Uh,
happens in Manhattan Transfer, I will not complain. I'll be like,
per-
wait, I know
Perhaps,
this one.
yes. Just when we eventually work our way out of the bubble, when we make our big escape, I'm sure that your prestidigitory skills will be played.
Yes, as a radio shock jock who also sidelines as a
Also a juggler.
magician.
That's right. Bonnie, for our listeners, is a marvelous person in so many ways, but she also works at the
Oh,
Magic Castle here
I
in
do.
Los
I
Angeles.
do.
Ah, ah.
Now that's what I want to do. I want to get the whole cast to storm the castle, to do a magic castle night, and you know,
Fabulous.
and just be like, we were all abducted by aliens and all we got was a card trick or something, like wear like little
Fabulous.
buttons or something. We've all been abducted by
And that's a,
aliens.
that's a question for those West Coasters. If the aliens had lifted L.A., well, one, it would be a big lift.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. It,
Yeah.
it would be just like Studio City or like just Burbank, like
Right. Just Granada Hills.
yeah, yeah. They're
LA
like,
wouldn't miss a beat if it was just Granada Hills.
I,
It's, oh yeah, Granada Hills.
oh,
Sorry, Granada Hills.
yeah.
I'll be like, oh, what happened? Oh, it's just Granada Hills. We're good. Yeah, if aliens abducted LA, that's a whole different other series. That'll be like the next series.
The
We're just gonna
sequel, the spin-off.
Yeah, the
Mhm,
Yeah.
spin-off. We'll
mhm.
focus on every city and how they react to this.
What would happen? Right,
One
right.
of those seasons will be Cleveland,
Like
John.
CSI. It'd be like CSI
Yeah,
Vegas,
You
CSI,
totally.
yeah, CSI Your House.
yeah. Law and Order,
Waiting for a
SUV.
Right.
Yeah,
light,
yeah,
actually. Just
It will Milwaukee transfer.
yeah.
there you go.
I like it.
I like
Oh,
it.
oh yeah,
I
or
like
like
it.
yeah, Fargo.
Fargo
We're
transfer.
right.
Yeah.
We're angling, as
Oh
you
my
can see, to be
goodness.
in the
Yeah.
writer's room. That's really where we
Yeah.
want to be.
I have a
Oh,
feeling
gee.
I have a feeling instead of the writers' room, they're just gonna be like, maybe we should cut back some of their
Yeah.
stuff
Now,
here.
yes. Zed
Um,
Wellington has his one-man business, and he's no longer yeah.
Mm.
Billingsley's out on the evidence of one interview alone. He's out.
yes, too much trouble, too much trouble in these.
Mhm.
I think that's why they're putting me up in a radio tower by myself. I think they're just gonna be like, let's not have Bonnie interact with anyone for a bit. Well, she's too much trouble. I feel like I'm doing my job right now. I'm like, all right, first time, long time listener, first time caller, go ahead, you're on,
Did the,
I'm
did
like,
the,
come on, Doug Jones, tell us what you got.
did the pets get abducted too? I hope for the sake of the people who are in New York when they get lifted that
Our pets?
yeah,
I'm
Really?
assuming if the whole city's going, the
Everything goes
pets are
with it.
coming too.
some cats and dogs just kind of hanging on the edge, and as the city goes,
Well,
yeah.
unless your dog wandered out of Manhattan before this happened, I don't know.
Man, it's they have a hard enough time on the 4th of July without getting airlifted.
No.
Oh, poor babies.
I've got a cat in the background who's probably about to use his litter box. If
Oh,
anything.
there it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
this
what we
is
want to see.
this is
Yeah.
getting scandalous on that.
That's right.
Well, good news for you, John, is that we are wrapping up now. So hopefully we can.
Oh, well, good news for you, Boo. Feel
Yeah.
free. You're not going to be on
Okay.
camera.
Feel free to relieve yourself in the background there. But before we go, just for all of you watching, make sure to check out manhattantransfer.tv to find out more about the show and the backer kit that is happening with our funding for the pilot. And again, I'm here with Doug Jones, Dr. Zed Wellington. Doug, where can people find you everywhere?
I'm on all the social medias as actor Doug Jones, all run together, no punctuation, actor Doug Jones.
Perfect. And what about you, John, playing the incredible Malcolm Inglebrecht? Where can they find
I
you
suck at
besides
social media.
besides
It's
on the
still,
corner of
yeah, I was gonna say,
Sherman Way and
where can you find me? I don't know.
Yeah.
I wander around Los Angeles. Don't hesitate. Come up and say hi. I'm easy.
Yeah,
Not as much of a hugger as Doug is, but I'm very friendly.
indeed.
I'm at J Billingsley 60 on what used to be known as Twitter, but I only visit intermittently because the site has become such a cesspool, alas.
yeah.
So I do promote some of the charitable efforts I'm engaged in there. But beyond that, I'm not much of a social media fellow because I'm old and stuck
That's
in it.
right. But talk about, everyday people doing wonderful, amazing things and being everyday heroes. Check out the Hollywood Food Coalition, the
Mm.
charity that John and his wife Bonnie runs because the
Don't
Hollywood
run it.
Food,
Don't run it.
well,
Don't
you
run
know
it.
what I
Don't
mean.
run it. Just help. But
Just
yes,
help. The one
yes,
that you're actively involved in, the
yes.
Hollywood Food Coalition. It's a fantastic charity, and it shows what everyday people can do for changing.
Many actors in our sphere are doing amazing and wonderful things with a lot of,
Mm.
Todd Stashwick recently doing such a marvelous event. I don't know if you follow
Yes, raising money with Dungeons and Dragons, and
playing Dungeons and Dragons for his
what
charity.
a way to do it. Yeah.
Also on the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network team, which recently made almost $250,000 for this past year as part of our effort to help support the fight against pancreatic cancer. So
That's what
a lot of good stuff that people are doing.
that's what I love about our community in general. Not, yes, focusing on the Star Trek, but like just the sci-fi fans and, all the actors and the community that comes together and sees a future of what can be and does what they can to change it
Yes,
for the better.
certainly.
And that's what, you know, in my opinion, in the end, sci-fi is all about. What can the future be for us? And I feel like we're gonna find out about Manhattan and the everyday heroes that lives in the city. So
Right.
thank you both so much for joining me today and for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here to talk about the new series. And again, so excited to work with you. Look forward to it. And I'm Bonnie Gordon. You can find me everywhere at Bonnie Bell G. I'm very Googleable.
Googleable.
Yeah, I'm a Googleable gal. And on that note, I think we should all say goodbye and stay nerdy out there. Check out manhattantransfer.tv, and we'll see you on the other side of the
Thank you,
dome.
guys.